Hey Aquarius, welcome to my page. This is Lotus Magic bringing you your October 2018 Oracle Guidance message. Before I get started into the reading, happy fall. I love this time of year. I love all the colors, the oranges, the reds, the greens. Really embracing that sacral chakra and root chakra energy this time of year. And speaking of root chakra, I have to say that your reading is somewhat similar to Capricorn's, and it's interesting because both Aquarius and Capricorns are ruled by Saturn, and Saturn also rules the root chakra. So for Aquarius, for you guys, I feel like your root chakra has really been in need of healing. And I say that because our root chakra deals with trust, our ability to be grounded to the earth. And it definitely has a lot to do with like love, whether we feel loved, and when we are not feeling loved, the impulses that we get to survive without it. And I feel like that's kind of like, for the last couple of months, definitely things to do with addictions have been coming up. And I feel like, much like the Capricorn, you guys are really working towards trying to end those addictions. But it's difficult because your root chakra is not balanced. So it's almost like when you're lacking the love, it's triggering the addictions. So I'm going to go ahead and get started into the reading. I just thought I would mention that because, like I said, Capricorn had a couple of these same cards, and I really feel like it's that root chakra that's really in need of healing. So your first oracle guidance message comes from the Angel of Addiction Healing. And it says this is a time of positive transformation and healing. So I'm feeling like this is one of two ways. Either you're an Aquarius who is dealing with addictions and you're still being heavily triggered. Or you're an Aquarius that have really been putting in the work. And the first one I mentioned may be for Aquariuses that really aren't doing the work to heal. So you're still being heavily influenced by your addictions. Or you're an Aquarius that is really trying to get these addictions under control, really trying to get your triggers under control. You just need to pay attention and tweak some things, because again, like the Capricorn, like I mentioned in my Capricorn video, I feel like what you're missing is right in front of you. And when I say that, what I mean is the things that are triggering you are right in front of you, and whatever's right in front of you, and I mean that in terms of like people, especially. There are people who are close to you that still are triggering certain emotions and certain responses out of you that's pushing you back and making it a little difficult to clear these addictions. And you're on such a positive transformation path, transformative path, that what's blocking you and keeping you from really making that move is what's in front of you. And you're not using your intuition. You're not speaking your truth. You're not being truthful with yourself about the people who may need to leave the situation or leave your life. You're not really being truthful with yourself. You're not being truthful with people And you really need to do that, because right about now, it's like you've gotten a handle on certain parts of the situation, but what still needs tweaking is what's closer to you. And that's people that are really close in your life that you're affected by. Now, I also have to say that, again, Aquarius, what's been coming up a lot in your readings for the past couple of months, and I believe in your fall equinox reading, which you can see on my Instagram, because I did that as an Instagram post, not a video, is like sex and love. Love is just like, when I was shuffling the cards, a lot of what I kept, like what played over my head, is you can't friend zone everybody. You can't friend zone everybody, and everybody's not your friend. Now, Aquarius, you rule friendships, okay? You rule the house of friendships naturally in the zodiac. So you're always trying to be the friend, connect to make friends, hold on to friendships, and friend zoning people. And so I think you really need to understand that everybody's not your friend. And when I say that, is when you're on a transformative path, that's really going to show you who loves you and who doesn't. Because those people that love you, they don't mind you transforming. They don't mind you building yourself up, raising your consciousness, and changing your life. Okay? It's the people that really aren't your friends that are going to have a problem. And they respond in one or two ways. They either try to sabotage it, or they just keep themselves attached to you, and they become and continue to be your triggers. Either way, it's kind of the same. It's sabotaging your healing process and sabotaging your transformation. And I feel like that's just what's going on. You're not paying attention to, your friends. It's like, be careful who you call a friend right now. Or it could be that you're trying to you're just trying to hold on to relationships that have run its course. And I guess that's the best way to sum it up. Things have run their course, and you're not accepting that, and so you're trying to find ways to compromise. And Aquarius can sometimes be a little too compromising, to the point where you compromise yourself, and you need not compromise yourself at all during this transformative path journey that you're on, because you're on your way to a better place, to do bigger things with people that are more aligned with where you're going in your life. So you're only hurting yourself by continuously trying to drag along people who aren't wanting to change, and dragging people along who don't really want you to change, because they're going to continue to be triggers for you to fall back, because they're not accepting the changes in you. Okay, the Goddess of Justice is your next oracle message, and it says, what seems an injustice is actually a blessing. So there's some of you, Aquarius, in the collective that may have had a recent breakup, or just a rift, even in a friendship. This could be a situation. It might not apply to a person, but just something, some type of setback that you felt was unfair, but it's actually a blessing. And it seems like it might be a little chaotic, but it's all part of the transformation process. And even though you can't see it right now, you're going to see in the end that it was a blessing in disguise. Right now, you just need to trust. Okay, as we see here, her clothing is purple. and that's crown chakra. So you need to just trust in the universe right now. And this is leading me back to that root chakra. You are really having a difficult time trusting yourself, trusting God, trusting the universe. You're really having a difficult time putting trust in understanding and knowing and being standing in faith that though you may lose some people on this journey, you're going to gain better people. You're going to gain better relationships. You're going to gain a better relationship with yourself. You're going to gain better forms of love. But you're not trusting that right now. And because you're not trusting that, you're holding on to people that don't need to be there because they're really standing in the way of the blessings that you have coming. And you just have to trust in God and know that you don't need to worry about the outcomes. You just need to do the work to be prepared for the blessing that you're going to receive once you get over this hump. Because whatever it is that you're trying to hold on to doesn't really even make you feel good. Like, it's not even making you feel good. So it's almost like when you think of a thief, okay? Thieves are people who don't trust in themselves to be able to get what they want, so they steal it. They don't trust in the universe that the universe is going to provide for them, so they take it. People who steal are not only are they not trustworthy, they have trust issues with themselves. And I feel like that's just kind of like what's going on with you. You're allowing people to rob you of a brighter future and better days and bigger opportunities simply because you don't trust yourself. And because you don't trust yourself, it's like you're trying to hold on. And it's almost like you're holding people hostage as well. As well as them holding you hostage, you're holding them hostage. Because you don't trust that this loss will be a bigger gain. So right now, if you're severing ties with people that you thought you loved and you thought loved you, it's not because you're being done wrong. It's simply because the universe is like really pushing for you to make room for better. But you're going to have to trust. And that leads me to your last oracle message, and it comes from the goddess of psychic protection. What you believe, you create. No one can harm you. And that just really ties it all together. Like, it's like you're because you believe you can't get better, you're not creating better. And you're creating situations and things that reiterate or confirm this inability to bring in better. So perhaps you missed an opportunity that would have been better for you, but because you didn't trust it, the opportunity slipped away. And now it's like you're in your head saying, I knew it. This is why I can't let this stuff go, because I knew that situation wouldn't work out. It was too good to be true. Whatever you might be playing in your head, it's really not true. This is all just what you're creating because of your beliefs. And it's really centered around your beliefs on love. So you're still needing to do a lot of work with your beliefs and teachings and learnings about love. So if this is like a relationship, the way you deal with relationships, if you deal with relationships where you feel like sex is love and the physical attachment you have to people represents love, it does not. And that actually hurts you worse than actually being able to emotionally connect with people. But because you don't trust, you have difficulties connecting emotionally on a deep level. So you're keeping it surface at these like sexual, physical connections, but in the end, you always feel like you get the short end of the stick. It's just not working out. And then you fall back here, or you're wanting to fall back here instead of just trusting God and healing and unlearning and relearning what real love is. And understand that if you continue to believe that love is going to bring you hurt, that's what you're going to get. But you're not really getting that from people who truly love you. You're getting that from people who really don't. So because you have this false perception around love, you have these issues with trusting yourself, you're creating these dynamics. And if it's not about a relationship, then it's just overall. It, like I said, you're the friend zone. So it could just be people in general that you have love for, or you think that have love for you. You're, because you have this slightly skewed perspective on love, it's really causing you more heartache than not. And so you really need to understand that it has a lot to do with your belief system. And you still need to understand that God is love. So connecting to God is really going to help you. I don't want to say fix, but it's going to help you change the perspective by understanding love on a higher vibration and not understanding love on a lower vibration. The song that's coming to my head right now is that song by Kendrick Lamar. I don't know the title, but you know, he says like, I'd rather you trust me than to love me. And I think right now you really need to focus on trusting yourself instead of focusing on who loves you and so much of that, because I think right now you really don't fully understand what love fully is, that you don't even need to focus on it. You really need to focus on trusting God, trusting yourself. Because if you trust yourself and you're trusting God, God is going to show you exactly. God is going to bring to you people that's going to show you exactly what love is. And it has nothing to do with anything that's purely physical. Because that's attachment, and that's root chakra. Okay, that form of attachment that we get in our adult life, where we rely on physical attachments to get us by and to feel love. Usually that stems from someone who had some issues in their younger life where they did not trust their caretakers. So you need to do some healing and understand, go back to your childhood and see what happened in your childhood that broke the trust you had with your primary caregivers, because it's your primary caregivers that really establish your ability to trust. Having consistent, parents, guardians, whoever was your caretaker, having consistency in your life with these people is what creates that trust. And so if you've had issues in your childhood where your caretakers weren't trustworthy, and I'm not saying like they stole from you or anything like that. What I'm saying is you could not trust that they were going to provide your basic needs. You couldn't You weren't sure if they were going to be able to provide food and shelter and clothing and love. Okay, because when you're born, babies learn to trust before they learn to love. And I was watching something the other day, surrounded by around child development, and the nurse said when a baby is born, they're only in fear of two things, and that's not being dropped. They're in fear of being dropped, and there was one other thing, but it babies have they come into the world because they've had a trusting environment for the 9 months, and now they're like out in the world and there's so much going on. The only thing they want to know is that they're not going to be hurt, and babies learn trust by being fed on time, being changed on time. When they communicate a need, that need is being met in a timely manner. So eventually, that ability to trust their caregivers turns into an ability to love their caregivers. And it's possible that many of you Aquarius dealt with things in your childhood that broke that ability to trust your caregivers, which affected your ability to love your caregivers fully because you didn't fully trust them. And it's not that you hated them, it's just that maybe there was a fear of them not meeting your needs. And so it put you in this guarded place to where you just don't trust. And it definitely put a block around your heart. So you definitely need to do some healing as it pertains to what happened in your life that made you stop trusting in yourself, what made you stop trusting in God, and what made you stop trusting in, people, to where it's almost like having someone who has abandonment issues, and you try to keep people physically close because you're afraid of being left alone, like a baby. Babies can sense when they're alone, and they're not by their caretakers. It's energy. So where you need to focus your energy, again, it's really coming from that heart space. And I feel like it has a lot to do with love. It's really like love is it's in need of healing. Like your heart is in need of healing. So your first one comes from moderation. And I feel like this is for those that are overindulging in sex. You really need to get some moderation because this drains your energy. It drains your creative energy. It drains your emotional energy. And it becomes something that you're addicted to fill voids. And that's been going on a while for you, Aquarius. So it's really just time to do the work. Trust. You're not doing the work because you don't trust. You don't trust that the work is going to get you to a higher place. You don't trust that the work that you're doing is going to change your life and change the outcomes and change. You just don't trust. So you really need to really focus on that, because this right here that you have going on is really draining your energy. It's draining your creative juices. It's just draining you. To a point where deep down inside, there's not a lot of joy inside of you. You may not show it externally because, like Capricorns, that Saturn energy really can it allows you to kind of keep your emotions intact externally, but internally you guys wreak havoc on yourselves, which brings you back here. But you need to pay attention to what's going on around you, because it's what's around you right now that's like making you go back and forth. So you also need to get, again, focus on your environment. And that's what I said, just confirming what I said about this card, about what needing to be tweaked is right in front of you. It's people, snakes in the garden kind of thing. It's time for you to cut the heads off these snakes in the gardens, because you got a lot of people around you right now who really don't want you to transform. Whatever is going on, they benefit from you being in the vibration that you're in right now. And so they don't really want you to change, because then everything changes. The moment you change, there's a lot of things for them that changes. The dynamic of the relationships, activities, it's a domino effect, and they know that. And so they would rather you stay in that low vibration. But it's like your intuition, you already know what needs to go, what needs to stay. You already know. But it's that root chakra. It's that fear of being alone. See, here we have people, right? You got people around you, but look what's happening. The people around you keep you in this state. Dazed and confused. Okay? And you're not willing to let them go because you're afraid of being here. You're afraid that, of being left out in the cold or alone. You don't want them to cut you off. Perhaps you feel like if you do cut them off, some harm will happen. But don't get caught up in that. It's only going to happen if you continue to believe that's going to happen. You're protected. You're protected because all of this that's going on is part of your divine plan. And as long as you're on your divine plan, you're going to be protected. Your crystal healing insight message comes from labradorite. Sorry. Giving your energy away is bad for your health. Establishing an efficient interface with the outside world will protect your well-being. So it's really just, again, touching on the fact that you need to pay attention to your environment and stop giving your energy away. But I feel like you're doing this mostly through sex. And sex is a very strong energy exchange, okay? And you might be having sex with low vibrating people and you're taking on that energy. That's harming you more than anything people leaving and walking away would do. That's hurting you more. So you need to get that under control, because that's bringing you harm. And again, this is an intuitive stone. So you know exactly what you need to do. Like using your common sense. Okay, you know what's gonna happen if you continue down this path. You already know, but you're allowing that root chakra, that fear, that trust. Hate is not the opposite of love. Fear is. You can't even fully understand love or be in a loving space because you fear it. So you're going to have to understand that the foresight that you've been blessed with to know exactly what road this is going to go down if you continue, you're blessed to have that foresight, and you need to use your common sense to make the necessary changes so that you can get back into your heart space and stop giving your energy away. You're heavily protected, so nothing's going to harm you unless you believe it will. All right. If you'd like a personal reading, you can contact me at lotusmagic17@gmail.com. Until November, Love and light.